welcome again to another crochet infusion. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. So today I'm going to be showing you all how to do a face cloth for my Darling Spa gift set. By all means you can do this face cloth for anything that you want to use it for. So for today's tutorial for this face cloth I'm going to be using a cotton yarn. This is a light 3 weight cotton yarn and I'm going to be using a size 4mm crochet hook. You're going to need some scissors, a tapestry needle, maybe a row counter to keep an eye on those rows, and of course a measuring tape because mine is going to be a 7x7. So of course you can use any cotton yarn that you wish to use and any hook size to match with the particular yarn that you're going to be using. So I'm just going to pick out my yarn, which I'm going to be going with this green yarn. So I just don't want to make a knot there. So this is the yarn that I'm using, this wavy cotton yarn, which I've used for pretty much all of the contents for this Darling Spa gift set, which you will find the other tutorials for somewhere here on my YouTube channel. So to begin, to start with this face cloth, I'm going to start by doing a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, you're just going to hold your yarn and you're just going to wrap that round your finger, just gently. And with this tail piece you're just going to pinch those two so it meets together with the end and the ring, so then just pull that off, and then we're just going to pinch hold at the base here, and I'm just going to fold this slightly over the ring and hold again with the bottom of my fingers just at the bottom here of my thumb and finger. So then I'm going to pick up my 4mm crochet hook. I'm just going to insert my hook around this strand piece in the centre and just gently pull, and that's just going to close that onto my hook. So now we're going to do a chain of 30, so yarn over your hook and you're just going to pull this strand through the loop that's on your hook. So pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pick up and pull through, and just keep working like this until you have a chain of 30. Or of course, depending on the yarn and the hook size you are using, just make sure to measure, because as I said I'm going with a 7x7, so I'll meet you back once I've got 30 chains and I'll meet you back and show you what you need to do next. Okay, so here is my chain of 30 and I'm just going to give that a quick measure in inches, which is just nearly 7 inches, so it's probably just at 7 inches because that will stretch a little, so by the time that's stretched that will give me up to 7 inches. So just make sure you hold on to your chains at the best you can when you measure along. So now I've stretched that slightly. Yes, mine is at 7 inches. So to begin onto this pattern, we're going to be doing what's known as a Trinity Stitch. It's also known as the Star Stitch. It's a very nice stitch, I believe, for especially a little face cloth like I'm doing today. I just think it gives it a nice kind of finish to the face cloth, nice texture on there. So I've decided to go with this stitch because I think it's a very pretty stitch, and I'm sure you'll all agree at the end of this tutorial. So anyway, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So to begin with the Trinity Stitch or Star Stitch, however you would like to pronounce it, I prefer the word Trinity Stitch. So we're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So basically we're not going to go into this chain here, we're going to go into the next chain, and we're going to do a 1 single crochet in that second chain from the hook. Insert your hook and pull your yarn through and pull through those 2 loops on your hook. So that's your first single crochet. So what we're going to do next, we're going to do what's known as a 3 together. So to do this 3 together, we're going to do where we just done that 1 single crochet, we're going to go back into that same stitch again. So insert your hook into that same stitch and pull the yarn through. So you've got 2 loops on your hook, but now we're going to go into the next stitch, keeping those 2 loops on the hook right where they are. Go into that next stitch, insert your hook and pull the yarn through. You've now got 3 loops on that hook, and we're going to go in one more time into the next chain, and we're going to pull that yarn through again, and we've now got 4 loops on the hook. We're going to pick up the yarn and we're going to pull through all 3 of those loops and do a chain 1, so it will look like that. So once you've done your chain 1, we're going to go back into that same stitch again, and we're going to pull the yarn through, and then we're going to go into the next stitch, insert your hook and pull the yarn through, going into that next stitch again and pull the yarn through, 4 loops on the hook, pick up your yarn, keep and hold at the bottom of your chain so it's nice and secure, and pull through all 4 loops, chain 1. And then we're going to do that again in that same chain again where we did that just there. Do your chain 1, make sure you finish with your chain 1, insert into there, so that's 1, 2 and 3, 4 loops on the hook, pick up your yarn, pull through all 4 loops, chain 1, in again, into the next, 4 loops, pick up your yarn, pull through and chain 1. And we're just going to keep working like this all the way to the end. When I get to the very last stitches, I'm going to come back and show you what you need to do, because it does change a little bit on that very last stitch. 4 loops, pull through, chain 1, and that's all you're going to do for this row until I get to the end. 4 loops on the hook, pull through and chain 1, and I'll meet you back once I get near to the end. Okay, so I'm just about to come near to the end of this chain now, and as you can see I've just done my last stitch just here, and I've got 2 chains left at the end, so you should have 2 chains here, and then we've got this chain that we're going to be working into, the one we've just worked into, so then that's a total of 3 chain. So I'm not trying to confuse you, I'm just saying that you will have 2 there and then you'll have that one there, what we've already worked into. So this last one to go now, so we're going to insert the hook into there, pull the yarn through, go into the next one, and going into that very last stitch at the end, the very last chain, you've got 4 loops again, and we're going to finish that off like we did, but this time we don't do a chain 1. What we do here is just a 1 single crochet, so insert into that same stitch or that very last stitch and work your last single crochet. So now we're going to do a chain 1 and then we're going to turn. So now we're working on row 2. So for row 2 we're just going to insert your hook into that very first stitch right here. So insert your hook and you're going to do a 1 single crochet, and then you're going to insert your hook into that same single crochet, 2 loops on the hook, into the next chain space, that's 3, and then into that chain 1 space on the next stitch. It will feel a bit tighter for that next stitch, and pull through. You've got 4 loops on the hook and pull through all 3. So the way to know if you're going right or wrong from this row on now is that it's going to feel tighter on that last stitch from that chain 1 that we did. It might not all the time, but you kind of notice as you're working that it might feel not too tight, but it might feel a little different to the others. So going into this last stitch that we did, I'm going to pull the yarn through, going into the next, that one's slightly wider as you can see, and then into that last one again, and that's 4, pull through, chain 1, and we're just going to keep working like this row by row until we get to the desired length that we want. And for me it's going to be a 7 by 7, so I'm going to be measuring mine as I go. So you've got 7 along the bottom and then 7 along the side, so it's 7 by 7 squared. And of course you can do yours at whichever size you wish to do yours at, but mine's going to be 7 by 7, and I'm just going to keep working like this. But remember, after you do your chain at the end, when you do your very last one, that you are just going to do a 1 single crochet, and this is the pattern repeat, so please go back through the video to know what you need to if you get stuck or anything, and I'll be back when I get near to the end of my rows and I will let you know how many rows I did. So I'm just going to finish off here, 1, 2 and 3 into that third stitch, 4 loops, pull through, chain 1, and remembering when you do turn you do chain 1 when you turn, and then you do a 1 single crochet, and then you begin the whole of the 3 together again. So I'll meet you back once I've got so many rows. Okay, so this is how mine is now currently looking, and I'm very happy with the way it's turning out. I hope you are too. So I'm just going to finish this last little piece off here, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. So I'm just coming to the end here now. I've only got 2 more stitches there, and then this one here. So 1, 2 and 3. Remember, we don't do a chain 1 on this last one, we're just going to go straight in for a 1 single crochet. So that is now the height and the width that I'm happy with for this face cloth. So now I'm going to go round with a 1 single crochet, and then I'm going to do a nice little border as well. Of course, this is optional if you want to fasten yours off here and be done with yours and you're quite happy with yours being like this, but for me, I just want to give it a nice little finishing touch in the peach colour to match with the rest of what I've been doing for this whole Darling Spa gift set. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to do a chain 1 just like we have been, and I'm actually just going to turn, and I'm just going to go right onto this first stitch here, so turn your work, and we're just going to start with a 1 single crochet along the top, and we're not doing anything different. We're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch, including those chain 1s that we did on the stitch below when we were working on the actual Trinity Stitch. So we're just going to do a 1 single crochet all the way around. So I'm just going to keep doing 1 single crochet along this top here, and I'll meet you back when I get to this corner to show you what you need to do. Okay, so I'm just now about to come to my first corner here, so I've just started with my 1 single crochets going around. So I'm not quite at the corner just yet, but I'm right near there, so I've just got 1 more and now I'm on the corner. So when you reach your corner, because we want to be able to turn this around, we're going to do 3 single crochets in that same last stitch on that corner, and that will help to move this around going this way. And then we're just going to carry on going into that next stitch and working 1 single crochet at the best that we can, working down the side of here. And I recognise it might be a little bit not the same as the sides here because it's working down sideways, so we have to just get this as even as we can, working along this side of just 1 single crochet. So I'm just going to keep working like this all the way around, and remember when you reach your corner you're going to do 3 single crochets in each corner, and I'll meet you back once I get back to here and show you what you need to do next. Also, when you reach this second end here where you've got your slip knot on this corner, I'm actually going to crochet in this tail piece here, so I'm just going to single crochet this in as I go. So I'm just going to quickly show you that now. So I'm just going to do my 3 single crochets into this last stitch right here. That's 2 and then that's 3. So as I'm going to now work along this side, I'm still going to keep this tail end just resting on the top where I can actually crochet that tail end in as I go, and it just helps, and I just feel it makes it a nice bit more secure than actually sewing it in, and I just think it finishes it off a lot nicer if you crochet in your tail end. Obviously this is an optional choice, you don't have to, but that's what I'm doing, so obviously if you want to do the same you can. So I'll meet you back once I've done all these single crochets all the way around this piece, and this is working into the foundation chain on this end, so you might find this is a little bit more trickier than the rest, but you will succeed going through this bottom end. So this is now how mine is looking, and I've done all the corners. I've just got this last one to do just here. I've already done the corner at the beginning, so I'm just going to slip stitch into that chain one that we did before we started doing a 1 single crochet. So I'm just reaching this corner right now. So there's another single crochet, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet, and then right in that chain one that we did just here, we're going to do a slip stitch, and I'm going to chain 1, and I'm just going to cut this yarn off, and this can be weaved in later. So I'm just going to cut just a small piece. It doesn't have to be a lot of piece of yarn that you cut. I'm just going to pull that and then pull that down, and that's just going to secure that into place, and I can weave that in, like I say, later. So I'm going to go into this stitch right here, and I'm actually going to attach on a new colour, and we're going to do a little border going around here. It's just a little Picot stitch, and all that is just like a little dots going across, almost looks like little dots. It's just a very small little quick finishing border, but you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I just feel it would be nice to. So I'm just going to put the yarn around my hook, insert my, I'll just do that again to show you. So insert my hook, place the yarn over my hook, and then I'm going to do a chain 1. So then I'm going to go back into the same stitch, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet, and I'm going to do, as you can see here, I'm actually going to work across this chain here, or not the chain, I'm going to work across this piece of yarn here along the top here. So I'm going to go 1 and 2, so I've got 2 single crochets. I'm going to go into this next one, and right here I'm just going to do a chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and what we're going to do here, we're just going to turn your chain slightly, and you're going to be able to see these back loops just at the back here. We're going to go into that very base first loop. So I'm just going to zoom you in a little bit in case you can't entirely see. So as I said, we've got a chain 3. I'm just going to turn it slightly, and we're going to just go into that back chain. So insert your hook, if you can get your hook in there. And we're just going to go through the back loop, and then we're going to pull that through and pull through again, so then we do a slip stitch, and then we go into that next stitch for a single crochet, into the next for another single crochet, so that's 2 single crochets, and then we're going to do a chain 3 again, and then once again we're going to go into this base of the back of the chain for your slip stitch, and then we're going to go into the next stitches across the next 2. So 1 and then 2, and then chain 3 again, working into that back chain again for your slip stitch. So insert your hook and pull through the loop that's on your hook into the next stitch, and we're just going to keep repeating this all the way around. Chain 3 again, back chain, slip stitch, and then another 2 singles, and then work your chain 3 again. And I'm just going to stop there just to show you what it actually looks like, and I think this looks really pretty, just for a small little edging. And like I say, you don't have to do this, this is absolutely optional. I just feel that this is just a nice little finishing touch to the face cloth. So I'm going to keep going, and when I get to here I'll come back and show you how to get around this corner. Okay, so I'm just now at my very first corner from here. We started from here, I did 2 single crochets, and then we did our first picot, and we're just doing the 2 single crochets and a picot, And now I'm at my very last stitch here where I'm going to do my picot, because I've done 2 single crochets and I'm at the end. So I'm just going to do another chain 2 just like we have been, and I'm going to do my picot just like I have been as well, going into that back stitch at the base and working a slip stitch. So now I'm just going to turn and I'm just going to carry on and just go into the next stitch for a 1 single, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch for another 1 single, and then I'm going to carry on with my picot here. So then this picot on the corner is just 1 right on that corner, and then working along the side. And again I'm just going to continue this all the way around. So I'll be back once I've got all the way around here and I come back to over here to show you what you need to do next. Okay, so I'm just literally nearly at this last corner just here, and it kind of looks a bit weird because we've got those 2 single crochets there, but don't worry about that because hopefully yours will meet in the same as mine. So I've just finished 1 picot just here and I've done 2 single crochets, so now I'm just going to do a chain 3. So I'm just going to work another picot just here, just do that slip stitch, and then as you can see here I've got 1 more space to go for a 1 single crochet, and then I'm on to here. So I'm going to go and do another single crochet right here, and I'm going to do another picot, so chain 3, and then I'm going to just do a slip stitch, I'm going to do 1 single crochet, and then I'm going to go into this next stitch and I'm actually going to finish right here with a slip stitch. And I'm going to do chain 1 and then just cut the yarn, and then I'm just going to get my tapestry needle, and all I need to do now is just sew this end in just here, and then that is your face cloth done for your Darling Spa gift set. So I'm just going to quickly just sew this end in onto here. Zoom you out a little. That's in. So just so you can see what I'm doing, so I've attached my tapestry needle on here and I'm just going to go around the back, and I'm just going to weave through the fibres at the back of here. Just to secure this tail end into place. I'm just going to go through that loop and just pull, and then just go where you feel you can go, just to weave through. I'm just running my tapestry needle just along the bottom here, and I'm just going to cut the excess of this yarn, and then I'm just going to weave this green in, and that is our face cloth almost completed. So just weaving in the back or the front, I mean it doesn't matter which way, well I suppose it does to a certain degree because you've got the stitches just at the back here, and then when you turn this side it's got a nice smoother finish. So I would say this is the back of the face cloth, but I guess if you're using it, it's not really a big problem if you use the front or the back. And because this is made of cotton yarn, of course this can go in the washing machine. Just please check your label before you do so, of what degree you need to put your washing machine on. And for this particular yarn that I'm using today, this can go on a 30, which is brilliant. So I'm just going to cut this little tail, and that is the face cloth done for the Mother's Day gift set that I'm doing for the Darling Spa gift set. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. I'm just going to show you around for this lovely face cloth. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. You can, so if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I'm also on Facebook at Crochet Infusion. You can always share your work on there. If you have any questions, I can communicate with you over on my Facebook page. So thank you all so much for watching today, and I'll be back very soon with some more fabulous stuff for you all. Thank you all for watching. Bye.